The last 8 weeks, we have been following the story of a woman dying from ALS, but fighting for a chance at life. Lisa Stockman Mauriello has been trying to gain access to an experimental treatment that could help her live longer. Drugmaker Biogen finally relented and will offer a drug in clinical trials to patients in similar circumstances. And now Congress is getting involved to perhaps make laws allowing people to get these potentially life-saving drugs before they are approved. To talk more about this, consumer investigative reporter Bill McGinty joins us tonight with more on this story. Hey, Bill.
Yeah, hey, Vanessa, you know, there are so many ins and outs and complexities to these stories, but this new law, hopefully it's a bill now, but it might force expanded access to some of these drugs. For so many families, an investigational drug is really their last shred of hope. The fight for expanded use of investigational drugs is taking yet another step forward. Congress now looking at it and debating House Bill 3537, which would direct the Secretary of Health and Human Services to support research and more access to drugs that may help patients with ALS live longer.
And what this bill does is it provides funding to make right to try a reality. So without it, the drug manufacturers had to pay for the drugs themselves. And some of these in the ALS world are really small pharmaceutical companies.
Michelle Lorenz is a volunteer ALS advocate and co-leader of No More Excuses. That's an ALS watchdog group. She hopes more legislators around the country will endorse this bill because it's about lives and living longer. That's the goal.
But with ALS, because it's so rapidly lethal, almost nobody qualifies for trials. There's only about 10% of our population that qualifies for trials. And so there's about 28,000 people in the United States that can't get access to investigational drugs.
Mary knows my name.
These are the faces and lives affected by ALS. Investigational drugs like Tofersen, given an early diagnosis several months ago, would have been helpful to Lisa Stockman Mauriello. It would have given her more time with her family.
The chances of her being able to benefit from getting Tofersen in mid-July, if she's even still with us, are remote, because if she is still alive at that time, she will have deteriorated so much that it's not much of a quality of life.
Drugmaker Biogen will offer this drug to patients in the fall. Team Lisa making an impact by crafting a legacy and maybe a law so that other families will get what Lisa won't: more time. Some North Carolina legislators have signed on to this bill, but Michelle is really hoping for a lot more input from the Carolinas and other states, too. It's an important bill going forward, and it means so much, Vanessa and Fred, to so many families out there. You know, going forward, you just never know what the future is going to hold for any of our families.
Yeah, so true. And what a wicked disease. What a very wicked disease.
It's just awful.